Hi, I'm Stefanie Newell, writing coach and developmental editor. Today, I'm here to answer your questions from the internet. This is writing support. So this first question comes from Scott Nick. How does one self-publish? So self-publishing basically means that you are the publisher. So in addition to doing the writing, you'll also handle the editing, the formatting, the cover design, the distribution, as well as the marketing. Now there are a lot of different platforms that you can self-publish through, but I highly recommend Amazon KDP as well as Lulu. And once you understand the process, the next big question is money. So this next question comes from Fine Wealth. How much did you spend on self-publishing? So when it comes to self-publishing, the cost absolutely varies. You could spend $0 all the way up to a couple $100s, but if you get professional editing and cover design, you could spend anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000 or more. Keep in mind that most of those costs are going to be associated with your word count. So for example, with editing, your pricing would be dependent on how big your manuscript is. So if you write a manuscript that's 80,000 or 100,000, that's going to be a lot more than someone that's written only 10,000 words. So your biggest expenses will be editing, cover design, as well as formatting. Think of it as an investment and not just cost, because your quality will absolutely affect your sales. Even if you spend the money, how do you know when your book is ready? This next question comes from Alex Failed 29. How do you know when your manuscript is ready to publish? So there's a few signs. You've gone through multiple drafts of your manuscript, you've gotten outside feedback, and you fixed any kind of recurring issues that you've had. Now, it's important to remember that editing is essential. So you should go through all of the different edits, including developmental editing, copy editing, line editing if you need it, as well as proofreading. So the important thing to remember is don't rush. Your confidence will come with polish as well as feedback. And of course, sometimes you'll look back on the process and wonder if you should have done things differently. So this next question comes from Has Me BD. Is perfectionism secretly sabotaging your indie publishing dreams? So yes, this is something that even I deal with from time to time as a veteran author. Perfectionism equals endless editing cycles, as well as delaying your manuscript indefinitely. So it's important to remember that there's a difference between polish and procrastination, and a lot of people get stuck in that procrastination phase. So your book doesn't have to be perfect, it just needs to be professional and ready for readers. And sometimes authors will get so stuck in this perfectionism trap that they'll wonder if they should just start their book completely over. So this next question comes from Old Glass 306. Is it worth completely rewriting a published book? So yes, if your book was rushed or if it doesn't reflect your best work, then absolutely, rewriting your book is an option, and many authors do this by writing second editions. Now, I can give a personal example of this. My very first book was written in 2008, and since then, I have just become a better writer. So for the last 4 or 5 months, I've taken time to go in and do rewrites of my book because I simply am a better writer and I can improve what I've already written. I've now republished that as a second edition, and this is something you can do as well. So another thing you want to consider is the time investment versus writing a new book, because sometimes just updating certain sections or key information is more than enough. And if you do start over, you definitely wish you knew a few things ahead of time, starting with this next question from Flashy Willingness 550. What were some of the things you learned, wish you knew after your first publication? So this is one of my favorite questions, and I'm going to give you a tip that I heard prior to publishing my first book, and I thought I understood it, but I truly did not understand the value in this tip until after I had published my book. And that tip is to market while you're writing your book. Now, I'm sure you've heard this tip by a lot of different experts within the publishing industry, and I've seen people say, oh, I want to finish writing first. The problem with that is that now after you've published your book, you're trying to go and find your audience. Whereas if you're doing that marketing while you're writing your book, you've gotten people excited, they're invested in your project, and they're more likely to purchase because they've gone through a bit of the journey with you. Building an audience is just as important as writing your book, and then once your book is published, readers will judge it by its cover, the description, and then by its reviews. So if you want more guidance on how to avoid common mistakes when self-publishing, I put together a guide, the Self-Publishing Handbook, and I'll link it below. Which brings me to my next point of why a lot of authors choose Amazon to self-publish. So this next question comes from Frosty Teaching $44.76. Why do majority of people go only for KDP? So it's a simple answer. Amazon has the biggest audience, the easiest setup, it's free, and it allows you to have instant global reach. But the downside is exclusivity if you enroll in KDP Select and the reliance on one platform. And one of the things that I personally love about Amazon KDP is that it's an equal playing field. So basically what that means is that a veteran author doesn't automatically receive more visibility over a new author. What it boils down to is building your audience, which is why I said that in the earlier question, you need to do that while you're writing, and having a strategic marketing plan. Now, if you want to keep going forward with these videos, check out my next video in this series where I'm going to answer your top marketing questions.